I'm seeing a big live button, and my face is on the computer screen.
It looks great. Hi, everybody. Welcome to SDGC Live.
Hello. What episode is this? I don't even know what episode this is.
Too many. It says on the stream 183, but I don't know if anyone else.
I didn't update anything.
So we actually... So this is my fault. Well, technically, it's the internet provider's fault. They came here and fixed our internet and actually turned off the Ethernet port downstairs where I do all my podcasting from without telling me. Great. So when I moved the router down here, that's why our internet wasn't working.
John, I gotta know, like, this happened a couple days ago. Have you just not been on your computer in a couple days?
So like, I've been using the wireless because my wife's been working from home and she needs the Ethernet upstairs. Usually for podcast night, I just move the router down here and hook up the Ethernet cable so I got a nice stable connection.
John, there are so many things that seem alarming to me about your internet setup, which is, I just bring my router downstairs when I need it. I just unplug it and hook it up somewhere else.
You know what? We're not here to talk about my internet. We're here to talk about video games.
True.
I don't know. Right? I was enjoying talking about your internet.
Yeah, I'm here for that, honestly.
So it's not just the SDGC crew tonight. Cam, you are with us. Thank you so much for being here.
That's me. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
We're happy you're here, man. Tell people, if they're not already following your stuff, one, where they can already follow you, and two, talk about what you do, man.
Yeah, so like Zach said, my name's Cam. I am an internet person. I do a podcast with also other friend of the show, Two-Headed Giant, Nathan Brandt, called the New Entertainment System Podcast. That is a show where we have a robot that we promise totally isn't a spreadsheet that basically takes like bits and pieces of video games, like different genre or IP or like a weird twist. Nate's in chat, say hi. And basically just kind of mashes them together and randomly outputs a video game. It's an incredibly silly show. We just had John on recently, actually. We've had Rev on before as well. It was a great delight. Yeah.
It's a really good show.
I think the game that we made with John was like, one of them was like a Duke Nukem game where you date a bunch of sexy dads.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the show that I do with my friend Nate. We have that out every Monday morning, typically. And as far as other stuff, you can find me on my Twitter at the CamDman. I do a lot of dumb Twitter bullshit. It's great.
Well, sick.
No, I am actually a huge fan of everything you guys do.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, and it's such a cool concept for a podcast too. Like I can't get over how much fun that was. I'm jealous. I wish I had come up with the idea myself.
It's a really fun show, and we haven't gotten tired of it, which means that we're doing something great, I think, because both of us are just like, if we're bored of this, we'll just drop this shit like a sack of bricks. So
did you mention the fact that you're basically like Mario to Dr. Disrespect's Wario?
That is true. I am Dr. Respect.
Dr. Respect. You have the
We learned this at one point. I don't even remember what show this was on. Was it?
I think it was Constantly Calibrating.
I think it was. I think it was on their last show. We discovered that Cam... Put on your shades, Cam.
Yeah, you got those shades there?
Oh, do I have the shades? Are you kidding me?
Okay, he looks like Dr. Disrespect, except
nice. I'm nice. And for consent before I film in the bathroom.
Yeah, when Dr. Respect barges into the bathroom, he's just going in there to make sure everybody's got enough toilet paper and the soap dispensers are all full.
I just want to make sure people are okay. Like,
absolutely.
You would never find yourself in a position...
He's demanding everybody... Go ahead, Zach.
You would never find yourself in the position that you need to cry on Cam because you've been cheating on your wife.
Right, totally.
Yeah, super cool thing he did.
Yeah.
Cam's in the bathroom making sure everyone's washing their hands.
Yeah.
Stopping them.
With soap for 20 seconds at least.
For 20 seconds.
At least, you know what? Dr. Respect goes 30 seconds.
Yeah.
He goes the extra mile.
Wow.
Okay, I believe that in my heart.
Under the nails every
time. Respect your viruses, so.
Okay, so it's, despite everything feeling like time is stopped, it's actually been, I don't know, kind of a quiet week for game news. Cam, have you been playing anything? Have you been playing this new IP called Final Fantasy? Have you been doing any of that, or?
So I haven't, actually.
Good for you.
So I have been really kind of playing two things and kind of bouncing back and forth in between just like, the day-to-day Animal Crossing. But I've been playing a lot of Persona 5 Royal.
Ooh.
I'm a big dumb Persona fan, and so that game coming out is basically Christmas for me. I'm really, really enjoying it kind of more than I thought I would. I've been I played an absolute ton of 5. I platinumed Persona 5 because I was unemployed and bored. By the way, don't do that. That's like 200 hours. But I've been really enjoying the changes they've been making to it. A lot of the combat stuff seems very snappy. A lot of smart decisions. It's great. Hello, cat. Hi, Luca. How's it going?
She's purring real loud.
I can hear her.
She likes your content. Like, you can hear this purring?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay,
That's
wait.
really
I gotta know. So I've never played a single Persona game. What is the difference
Yes.
between Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royals? Because to me, that just makes me think of. Did we lose someone? Did the camera? Just...
No. I'm turning off the autofocus on my camera. That's all.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to get distracted. Again, so I think of this as like super, like a Street Fighter always does like Ultimate Editions. This is not
Totally,
that.
yeah. So it basically is that actually. This is kind of the like definitive final version of Persona 5, like the base game that they put out. They did the same thing with like 3 and 4 as well. So basically they like added a bunch of extra content. There's a whole bunch of like other characters that you get to meet and interact with, new characters that I think can be added to your party. They like cleaned up a bunch of stuff. They fixed a lot of the not great localization stuff that was not really wonderful. Like one case in particular was there was this point in like the red light district where you and your friend, and you're both high schoolers, kind of get ambushed by these like very flamboyant like people, and they kind of play it off like they're like, oh, they're kind of child predators. That's not very cool. But they change it to like, oh, hey, this person's going to look really great in drag. You should totally come out to drag shows. That'd be really fun. And it's like not ideal, but it's really great. I think that the fact that at least Atlas USA is like, hey, this isn't cool, but we can't really do much about it, so we're just going to do the best we can. Like, I think that's commendable.
Right. Is it basically the translation team is basically doing a lot of the heavy lifting?
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
Sure.
a lot of the stuff that I know, like the Persona series catches some flack for, is like how it sometimes uses a lot of not straight people as punchlines, which isn't great.
Right.
But I can definitely tell like an honest effort was put into correcting that, at least from like the Western localization. I don't know anything about the Japanese one, but I'm really, really enjoying the game so far. It's really great. If you like Persona 5 or haven't started it and want to give it a shot, you should absolutely jump in with this one because it's like the version of it.
I'm in the case where I bought 5 at launch and never played it, and now Royal's out.
Yeah.
But I don't want to spend another $60
That's completely
on
fair.
it.
What excites me most about Persona 5 Royal is apparently Morgana no longer tells you to go to bed every other night.
Yes.
I am super like. Is it weird that I'm super excited about that?
So like most nights, especially the thing that impressed me the most was like, so whenever you go into the dungeons, typically in that game, like you lose your evening chunk of time because your character is just exhausted, and your character's still exhausted, but you can still do whatever you want, like within the confines of the coffee shop that you live at. So like you can like say you like go run a dungeon, but you have like a video you want to watch to like up your like guts or your knowledge or something, then you can still like sit there and just like watch that and still get that extra bonus. So it like they basically found ways to let you use your time more effectively, which I really enjoyed. And yeah.
Sick. Did you say there's one other game you're playing right now too?
Yes, and it's a weird one. It's a Rock Band. I'm playing a lot of Rock Band.
That's not weird, Cam. That's on brand for you, bud.
It's very on brand for me. I actually just got a third-party adapter called Roll Limitless. I have an electronic drum kit, and I was like, well, it's just been kind of sitting in the closet, so I now have that hooked up to my PS4 through this adapter, so I can like play Rock Band drums with an actual kit, which is really, really cool. It's been kind of my like workout thing while I'm like trapped in my apartment, for lack of a better term. And that's been really fun. It's been just a great way for me to like actually learn how to like become familiar with a drum set, because it's like it essentially takes, because you know, like on the regular Rock Band drum set, you have like the red, yellow, blue, and green, like the 4 pads, but this one adds the pro level, adds the symbols for blue, yellow, and green. So it like spreads those out. So there's like 7 things you have to deal with plus the kick pad. It's really great. I love it.
Okay, wait.
I've been playing a lot of that.
I gotta know like what the. I'm not saying favorite song. I'm saying favorite song to play the drums for in Rock Band. What have you been playing the most?
I think the song that I've been playing the most, probably Hysteria by Muse.
Okay.
Love that song.
Well, I love Muse. Period.
Muse is great.
Yeah.
Great band. Terrible lyrics, but great band.
Yeah.
I've been just really jamming the fuck out on that. So those have really been kind of the two main things I've been playing in between, selling turnips and shit. So
Sweet. Justin, have you been playing anything interesting?
I have played from beginning to end the Final Fantasy VII remake. I absolutely loved it. I've mentioned it's one of my favorite games of all time. It's one that it's actually the original Final Fantasy VII is the first game I ever finished beginning to end by myself as a kid. So like it was a big moment in my gaming career for me. As well as like it really launched my love of JRPGs when I was growing up, which I've really fallen off of in the past few years for various reasons. And so I was really excited for this remake because I remember watching the PS3 reveal live when they had the tech demo of
I remember that
Cloud jumping off of the train. So it was like that was the first thing that put like I want to explore Midgar like this in my head, and I loved it overall. There are some weird inconsistencies, especially visually. Like chapter 8 is one of the ugliest things I have ever seen. Like the textures all look like they're bugged with like these incredible, like the character models are incredible with just some of the worst texture work I've seen in a game this generation. Like in that chapter,
and it's really just that one chapter. Like I don't
get
it.
And then there's a couple other places where it's like you're above the slums and there's just like a JPEG of the slums below you and stuff like that.
Love that.
And then there's the last few chapters which I thought I was watching a CG cutscene and then it transitioned seamlessly into gameplay. Like
unbelievable.
Like stuff like that is weirdly inconsistent. I do think some of the stuff that they extended didn't need to be extended as much as they but aside from those like few complaints, I was completely overjoyed with how much they managed to nail this. Like, it was something that could have easily gone off the rails. I loved every change that they made, big and small, story-wise. The characterization is so good. And they really delve into a lot of things that I think were, like, even for people familiar with the original, because of the not great localization and kind of weird storytelling of that period of games, wasn't very clear. Like they really built it up to be something really special, and they did a whole lot to justify, just having what was a small portion of the first game, a small portion of the original game to be like a huge game on its own. Some of the stuff I was most worried about seeing in the remake, like the Honeybee
Chapter 9,
ended up being... First off, they handled it brilliantly, and it was one of my favorite parts of the whole game.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a part I didn't like in the original game, and I was so worried about how they were going to, address it in the remake, and I loved it. I had a huge smile on my face the whole time for that chapter. The emotional story beats really hit for me. Like, this is the most relaxed I think I've felt playing a video game in a long time. Like, multiple days I sat down and then I looked at the time and it was 6, 7, 8 hours later.
Good. Awesome.
I haven't done that since I was a little kid playing JRPGs. Like I said, I've really kind of fallen off of that genre.
Justin,
but this game was simultaneous. Like, I've never had this sensation before of like such a nostalgia trip, as well as also being really excited to see what they do next, because there is enough changes and enough expanded that I was really excited to see what they did with it. The combat system, the music especially, are all stellar.
Justin, I just want to I want to interrupt.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're totally fine.
No.
I want to interrupt for a second because the other day I told you this and you were very surprised, and then you're like, "No, that actually makes sense." John, I want to know if you already know this. Do you know who the voice actor for Don Corneo is in the remake?
Oh, by the way, that's not true.
It's not true?
It's not true. So, So
This
there was a
devastates
misunderstanding that people thought that Mark Hamill voiced Don Corneo.
This is shaken.
It's Fred Frank
Taschiore.
Yeah,
I'm so
it's
sorry to
not
lie to
Mark
you.
Hamill. I was bummed out when I found out that wasn't true.
I would never lie to you unintentionally. I'm so sorry.
No, but
I'm disappointed, and I didn't even know that.
Justin, I got sent a code for Final Fantasy VII remake, and thank you Square Enix and Butterfinger.
Butterfinger holding it up out there.
I can't believe we didn't get a Butterfinger skin for the Buster Sword.
For the Buster Sword, I know. I wanted Cloud wandering around with like just a photorealistic just Butterfinger
after cup noodles in Final Fantasy 15. I'm surprised.
Reb, you sound enthusiastic. You sound thrilled.
Okay, so I admit that I did not have the experience with the original Final Fantasy VII that most people did. Like, most people who were really excited about it played it back in the fucking day, right? I played it in college, and I feel the same way about Final Fantasy VII that I feel about Star Wars, honestly. Both are experiences that for basically my entire life the entire portion of my life that I spent talking to people about film at all, or movies, people were like, you haven't seen Star Wars? It's the best movie! How can you haven't seen Star Wars? You have to watch Star Wars. And the exact same thing happened when I started playing video games with Final Fantasy VII. You haven't played Final Fantasy VII? What's wrong with you? And everybody was so hyped about it and so obsessed with it, and it was just like this pinnacle of things that by the time I actually got around, in both cases in college, to sitting down and watching and playing with them, honestly, like Star Wars, it's fine, whatever. Yeah. Final Fantasy VII, it's fine. I think at least some of my dislike of it comes from the fact that 3D controls like that did not age well.
Polygons like that did not age well.
Very hard to play when you are not used to that. But I also really liked Legend of Dragoon, so maybe that's not the case. I don't know. But anyway, I didn't like the game. I burned out on it. Honestly, at about the point in the original game where Final Fantasy VII Remake ends. So I pretty much know the basic plot of this game, like from start to finish, or at least this part of it from start to finish. I don't really know I know Aerith dies.
So,
but I don't know what happens next.
Whoa!
But
I haven't finished it, and I have not. These are 20-year-old spoilers that I wasn't ready for.
Whatever. But yeah, so I'm gonna borrow. I don't have a PS4, but I have borrowed a friend's, and I'm gonna give it a shot. And just kind of see how I feel about it. And I don't know, I'm trying to go into it with an open mind. I'm trying to. I am skeptical that the writing is going to flabbergast me in the way that it seems to just blow other people away. Like, I've seen some tweets from more skeptical people who are more critical of the writing in that game and say that the remake hasn't really solved their problems with it. And so I'm interested to see where I'm going to fall. But I'm trying to go into it with an open mind. And I'm very, very curious as to how I'm going to feel about it.
Fair enough.
So... I'm sorry, go ahead, Zach.
No, I was going to jump to you, John, because I know... So first of all, before we get any further, we have a lot to say about Final Fantasy, and I think that SDGC is probably going to have some content that we're going to release just about Final Fantasy. But John, I do want to hear what your experience was with the game.
So Justin's already said a lot about it, and I agree with everything he said, so I'll regurgitate my thoughts really quickly here. I am on chapter 17. There's 18 chapters in the game. I've spent a lot of time in the Shinra building. I'm at about... The first thing I want to stress, if you haven't played this... I'm at chapter 17 and I'm 38 hours in. So I mean, this is a whole ass Final Fantasy game.
It took me 43 hours, and there is still some side stuff I have not done.
And so and I want to stress that I am at 38 hours. I've probably still got another, from what I've heard, 5 or 6 hours to go, and I have done all the side quests. And so yeah, this is a whole ass Final Fantasy game. And I absolutely love it. There has been a lot of consternation about changes made to the source material in regards to storyline. And what I'll say is this, is going into this, if you love Final Fantasy VII, the original, if you have any sort of emotional attachment to that story, without spoiling anything, put aside your expectations of what this is, because the word remake is key here, and I know Justin understands what I'm talking about. This is not a retelling of the same, this is a remake, and there are going to be things that surprise you. There are going to be things that shock you. I know I've been shocked several times, and
some of that stuff starts in chapter 2.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it's not even like major things at the end. Like, there's a lot of stuff throughout. So I thought
I will agree with Justin that there is some weird visual inconsistency regarding some of the textures. However, the character models are some of the finest I've ever seen.
Oh, they're incredible. The characters look incredible.
Absolutely.
Well, the main characters, not the NPCs.
The NPCs look like NPCs. You know, they're whatever. The battle system is my new favorite in the entire series, and you can really feel 13's DNA here in the battle system. They brought the stagger system back, which I think has been
you have my attention.
Yeah, well, it's the same team that worked on it, so you can really feel that 13 DNA in here. And I'm close to the end of the game. It is now my second favorite Final Fantasy game of all time. And nothing's ever going to overtake 6 for me for nostalgic and other reasons. But Final Fantasy VII Remake is about as close as it gets, and this is exactly what I needed. I can't believe they nailed it the way they did. This could have been a fucking disaster. I
expected to have so many more issues
than
I did.
So did I. But the voice acting is incredible. The music, the remix tunes from the original are unbelievable. It's funny. There's banter between the characters as they're running around. And just to play off what Justin said about the Honeybee Inn, and this is the last point I'll make. That scene from 1996, if played out today, would come across extremely problematic. But the way they did it, the way they implemented it here is extremely, it's extremely inclusive. It's done very tastefully, very well.
And it's very fun and positive in a way I was not expecting.
There is a dance rhythm mechanic there that I want to be its own game. I want a Final Fantasy rhythm game using the mechanics from Chapter 9 because it's incredible. That's literally, other than Animal Crossing, I've played nothing but Final Fantasy VII all week. That's what I've played.
Reb, do you have anything else you've been playing besides? It sounds like you haven't even dipped your toes in yet.
No,
You're about to dip your toes.
Zach, you know exactly what I've been playing all week.
Halo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm playing Animal Crossing. That's literally all I'm doing. I finally chilled the fuck out. So I hit everybody. It's been really interesting to watch. Like, everybody, I think I may have said this. No, I didn't say this last time I was on the podcast. It's been really interesting to watch everybody kind of around week 3 of Animal Crossing hit the point where they've either done one or two things. Either they're people who have played Animal Crossing before or who are playing it for the first time and are content just kind of playing Animal Crossing and they're enjoying themselves and they're going to keep playing. Or they are, like, exhausted because they've been trying to min-max the whole thing, and it turns out that when you try to min-max a game that's meant to be played over, like, months and years, you get exhausted really quickly. And so it's just been very, very interesting to sort of see the discourse switch very quickly from Animal Crossing is the game we all need right now to Animal Crossing is not the game we need right now.
Yeah.
It's been very funny. I agree
it was very
with both
funny.
takes in equal measure.
It was very funny for me, like, kind of as an outsider to Animal Crossing, see, like, everybody bragging about, like, how wholesome and fun it is, and then that, like, Easter event with the bunny or whatever happened.
hit a bunny.
And I have never seen so many people want to murder an NPC, as hatefully as the Animal Crossing community.
The amount of, like, screenshots I saw of people just standing next to Zipper on Bunny Day with their axes out was, like, astronomical.
Did you see the one person who built a fence around Zipper so he couldn't move anywhere?
Yes.
So Reb, I have to ask though, do you have any the people who are starting to find cracks in like the loop and they're not enjoying it as much? Do you feel like Bunny Day was part of what made those cracks visible, or do you think it's just that like this is easily one of the biggest wide appeal Animal Crossing games there's ever been? Is this just like no, like this game is always what? Sorry, I'm being verbal.
I see what you're saying. I think so. I think Bunny Day didn't help. I don't think that it was like the catalyst, right? It didn't help. My weird theory about this is that Bunny Day was never meant to be the first big. I mean, it wasn't. It's not even a weird theory. But Bunny Day was never meant to be the first seasonal event that we get. Because originally this game was going to come out. I don't think we know when, but it was going to be sometime last year. My pet theory was like late summer. I've heard other people say fall, but I think the timing on it, had it gone with the original release date, would have been that the first holiday event we would have gotten was Halloween, and that would have been Jack. And Jack is a very beloved Animal Crossing holiday character. Everyone loves Jack. He gives you treats. Everyone dresses up in costumes. Halloween has historically been a very fun holiday in Animal Crossing. Easter is Bunny Day has always been kind of a joke. Like, because the whole idea of Zipper being like this very, like, somebody in a suit, we don't know, like, what, he doesn't really want to be doing this job, like, he's hiding eggs everywhere, he's overly enthusiastic in a way that, like, an obnoxious fast food worker is, like the fast food guy in Undertale with the giant smile, the burger guy, like, that's what he's like, and so, Bunny Day is a joke. None of the other holidays are like this. All the other ones are very sincere. And so I do not think that Bunny Day was meant to be the first holiday. And I think that, I mean, there's definitely a chance, I don't know anything, but I guess there's definitely a chance that it wasn't quite tuned or it wasn't quite meant to be the thing we were all doing when we were simultaneously still in the first 2 weeks of building our islands.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's my theory.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to actually answer your question. Sorry.
No, you're perfect.
The other thing, though, that I think that has really kind of exacerbated everybody burning out really quick is the fact that this is the first time Animal Crossing has had such easy connection to social media. I mean, people were definitely playing it when I was on the 3DS. Like, we had this conversation a couple weeks ago. This game sold a fuck ton of copies on the 3DS. New Leaf did. But there wasn't like an easy screenshot feature to just throw shit on Twitter. And so now that we have this, everybody can just screenshot their islands instantly. There's this giant fear of missing out that people have. Like, they see these beautiful islands, these really well-decorated islands that people put hours and hours and hours into, and they want that. And they start, like, trying to figure out how they can min-max their way to that. And that is not, I mean, this is not to downplay anyone who has made a beautiful island, because if that's the, Animal Crossing, you play video games the way you want to play them. That is the blanket statement. But Animal Crossing is designed to be played slowly over a period of time, and I've even had to stop myself when I've been playing. Like, I'll get into this rhythm, and I'll be like, okay, I need to put a road here, I need to move this house here, I need to do this and this and this and this, and I'll start coming up with all these, like, really, really deliberate plans, and then I'll be like, wait, I literally have basically infinite time to do this. I could do this today or tomorrow, and the game does not give a shit. So I'm going to do, like, one thing today, and then I'm going to turn it off and come back tomorrow. And it requires kind of, like, that self-discipline, right? And I think there's probably, like, a good piece to be written somewhere about how Animal Crossing has, like, introduced, like, these mobile systems from, like, Pocket Camp, like, with the resources and kind of the Nook Miles, like, incentives and stuff that are very, like, mobile game kinds of incentives, but there's no way to pay your way to get them done quicker, so there's no, like, monetization scheme attached to them. So it's just this weird sort of thing that you dump your time and energy into, but there's not necessarily a huge reward for it, but there's still this incentive. It's very weird. Like, the whole thing is very weird. I think the game is fucking wonderful. I'm going to be playing it. I've already put over 150 hours into it. I'm going to keep dumping in more hours because I just love it. But I have slowed down. I'm only playing like an hour a day now, and that feels way more manageable than what I was doing. But granted, I was also on vacation the whole first week it was out doing nothing else. So, you know.
Reb, do you think that part of that is because, like, obviously the game sold phenomenally well, and some of that is due to everything that's happening in the world right now. A lot of people are home, and there's been a lot of buzz around Animal Crossing, and people leading up to launch saying, this is the game we needed right now. So I think this game has a lot of first-time newcomers to Animal Crossing. Do you think that people unfamiliar with the franchise came into this not really understanding that this is not a game you play for 50 hours for a week, then put down? Like, this is something meant to be played over a very long period of time?
I think most people kind of knew that in, like, some way or another, but I mean, God, we're just living in weird times, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think we all just kind of, even people who, like, know this and who have played these games before, like, we all kind of went into it, and we put a lot of expectations into Animal Crossing. Like, we put a lot of expectations into it to be kind of this, like, escapism, right, that we all needed, and it was that for, like, a week, and then we all realized that we were stressing ourselves the fuck out, and I think it's sort of, it's benefiting from the situation in the sense that it's getting sales and visibility and all this other stuff. It's a sucky situation, and no one wants that to happen. I'm sure Nintendo doesn't want that to happen, but they are benefiting from it. It's true. But I think that people are kind of, you know, shooting themselves in the foot a little bit. Not voluntarily, but, like, there's just sort of this thing happening where we're all in these weird ass mindsets, and a game just happened to come out that promises kind of this infinite paradise that we can just build however we want, and all these friendly, happy animals, and everybody's racing to do it first and fastest and best. And it's just kind of this weird, it's no one's fault. It's just this weird thing that happened because of the
Yeah.
weird circumstances we're in, I think.
Have you heard the stories of people who are like setting up systems for turnip trading where they're like setting up discords and then they're building
Oh, God,
pathways
yeah.
where visitors come and like if you actually want to get into the turnip prices you have to do like when I hear stories about this, like it
sounds like EVE Online.
I guess it's like my gut is like I feel shitty saying this because I wouldn't say this about any other game, but like it just feels antithetical to like what the designers wanted,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
is
it
like
absolutely is. But
Yeah.
the thing is, this kind of thing has been going on for a really long time. It's been going on in previous
totally.
games. We just are very much more aware of it now, and it's on a larger scale. The other, so turnip trading is the big thing. The other big thing that is not being discussed quite as much, but it's absolutely still going on, is villager trading.
Yeah.
People are really,
Yeah.
really obsessive about what villagers they have in their town, and there are it is wild. People have whole back in the day it was forums. I guess it's probably Discords now, where they will buy and sell villagers, and it's because there's a way to kind of game the system where when one of your villagers is moving out or in boxes, as the lingo goes, you can have someone visit and talk to them and convince them to move to your town. And they will then come. And you can do that on purpose. You can also show up. I think in previous games you couldn't specifically solicit them to do that. Like you had to just come and then like the data was stored and they would do that like without you talking to them. There's a whole system. People know how to game it. But basically people will sell popular villagers for like millions of bells. It is absolutely
That sounds
wild.
illegal out of
It is.
context.
Did you guys see the like Amazon that
The
somebody made?
Nookazon thing?
Yeah, the Nookazon.
Wait, what? I'm sorry,
Okay,
what?
so someone has actually made it. It looks like you're browsing Amazon too. It's ridiculous. Where like you can go and you can spend bells on an item, like from Animal Crossing, and a player will sell it to you for that amount, and they
Yeah, so like the way that it works is basically people want the LCD TV because it's like an item that just a lot of people want in their homes, and so there's basically you can have like a Nookazon listing for the LCD TV, and then it shows how much that you are selling your LCD TV for, and then it has your Dodo code, your Dodo code next to it, and then people just like basically like come and trade the bells for the item.
so like
That's really cool.
well okay so hang on
It's
Reb
cool. It's also
So Reb said this
Yes.
earlier. Reb said this earlier. Where like this has always been part of the Animal Crossing DNA, and the game has always had these undercurrents of like capitalism. But then when you see it like intersecting with like, now what if social media made us have a hyper-connected world in which you could trade in people and in product? Like it just it feels. It's like I don't think there's anything the developers could have really done to prevent this. But I don't know if subjectively, I don't know if my idea of island escapism involves the stock market and have people make and if you want my turnips, you better bring X, Y, and Z if you want the good prices.
No.
It's
and I think you have to set those
gross.
limits for yourself, right? Like people get to
Totally.
play games the way they want to play games.
Right.
Like personally, I am in. The SDGC Discord has its own Animal Crossing channel, and then I'm in one other Discord that's literally just a group of friends. We all know each other, I think, for the most part, who are all happen to be playing Animal Crossing. And so I have I have started doing the turnip trading, and I've made a little. I stole someone's spreadsheet, and I am kind of paying attention to it, but I'm not doing the thing where like I'm jumping into these massive Discords trying to find like these amazingly high prices.
Right.
If one of my friends has a good price, I'll show up. If they don't, whatever. Like I'm not getting obsessive about it. It is kind of it's just wild to me. Like I posted a joke or something on Twitter last week about how like I had sold all of my turnips for a small profit like earlier that day, and literally 5 minutes later, like 5 of my friends showed up in Discord chats like, "Hey, my turnips are 500 bells," and I'm like, "What the fuck? If I just waited 5 more minutes, I could have gotten this." And I posted a joke about that, and I had like, not even kidding you, 20 DMs from, 19 DMs from randos and 1 DM from John's wife. asking if they can come sell turnips on my island because I posted a joke on Twitter.
We've
No
so,
shade to you, Vicky. No shade.
my wife and I. So Vicky's been working from home, and I've just been home because I can't do my job from home for like 3 weeks now. And literally every morning, I'll wake up, come downstairs, and she's like, "Honey, check your turnip prices." Every morning, she's like, "What are they?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't checked yet. You need to do it before noon." I'm like, "Okay, I got it. I'm checking my turnip prices right now, baby." Yeah, it's yeah. She was working from her computer a couple days ago, and Kat Bailey opened up her island because her turnip prices were like 499 bells. I said, "Baby, you got 15 minutes to get over here," and she literally stopped what she was doing, took off her work headset, like ran in with her Switch, and she's like, "Okay, I gotta try to get in. I got turnip." Like,
Yeah, no, I can't.
Yeah.
If I do that, I'll get. It's not relaxing anymore if I do that.
It's not. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I like today is probably the first day since launch that I will probably not play Animal Crossing just because I'm like I don't have to. It's whatever.
It'll still be there tomorrow.
Yeah, totally. My island's not fucking washing away. Like it's gonna be there. I'll be here. Like it's fine. Like it's just relaxing. Like I just want to chill. Maybe dig up some fossils. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Has everybody talked about the games that they've been playing lately and what they've been like? Do you have
You
anything?
haven't, Zach.
Zach, you haven't talked about the game.
I never
you're
have
playing.
interesting games.
Tell us about your video games.
Zach, you're
Okay.
so interesting.
I don't have an interesting
Stop it!
game to
Be
talk
gentler
about.
with yourself.
Okay, so the game.
Well, Zach, are you able to talk about the interesting?
So I can't talk. I can't talk about. One
Okay.
games. But the one game I've been playing a lot, and I'll talk about it next week probably. I'll be able to promote it. The one game I've been playing a lot, and it's been out for a while. I've been playing this game called Hunt Showdown. Are you guys familiar with Hunt Showdown?
Hell yeah.
I have heard of this, but I don't.
So do I need to
Zach
give?
says, I don't ever play anything interesting right after saying, I'm playing this one game while making a face like, oh god, I'm going to have to tell you about this game.
Do you guys? Okay. Do you guys need a bastaline explanation of what Hunt Showdown is?
Yes, please.
Okay, so Hunt Showdown is a game where it's a big map. Not that I guess big as battle royales have really ruined the concept of big. A pretty decent multiplayer-sized map. Where you can deploy alone, in duos, or in trios, but you face it's not like you can be in alone and face trios if you opt into that. But the idea is you are set into this Louisiana bayou in 1895, and something has happened there, and it is like this macabre, like almost Dark Soulsian world in which something very sick has happened in the bayou, and you are looking for hints to where like these boss types are on the map. You need to look for hints across the map. Once you find a boss, you have to fight it. The boss is AI, but there are also up to 12 other people on the server who are also all hunting the same boss as you. You want to try to grab, once you kill the boss, you want to try to grab that bounty, and you have to get to an extraction point, while other players are hunting you because they want the bounty that you're carrying. So it's a bounty hunting game where you can play with your friends, trying to take out AI bounties while real humans fight you. So it's PvP meets PvE. And to me, there's like something very goofy about like the intersections of like, so all the characters are like basically their visuals and names are proc-gen, and then you can get them, you can like recruit them to work for you, and that's your playable character. And when they die, you lose everything they're carrying. And so the idea is if you get your extractions, you can unlock perks, and the perks are things like, your character can, you can unlock something that's called levering on your pistol, and it makes you shoot really, really fast. But, of course, if you die, you've lost that. So there's a character progression for people who, you kind of play as people you work for you. I don't know, but basically, I just have this idea of, like, this really disgusting horror-ish PvP experience where, like, you're hunting something that's, like, a big man who's got a pig head, and he chases you around with a fire axe, and you have to try to kill him, while there's also AI people who are near you. And, like, to figure out people are near you, you have to, like, put on this whisper mode where your character, like, pulls their hands up, and the screen goes, like, almost black, and you can kind of feel like the more sinister the whispers sound, the closer real players are to you, so you have to, like, use your environment. And then, like, throughout the world, there's, like, extra branches, and there's crows, and there's dying horses, and if you get too close to them, they'll make a noise, or the crows will fly away in the direction you're coming from, and so you have to use your environment around you to kind of, like, figure out where other players are at. It's this really bizarre.
That's really cool.
It's so
Zach.
weird. It's so weird, but I love it.
I'm Zach. I never talk about interesting games on the podcast. Talks about the most interesting game
So
on the podcast.
so Hunt
True,
Showdown. Hunt Showdown is
Jesus.
on PC. It's made by Crytek, who just announced they're making that they're making that port for Crysis remastered, and they also did Rise: Son of Rome for people who wanna think about that game.
We don't talk about Rise. Son of Rome.
Yeah, no, there's some interesting things there. But no, it's super super cool, and it's got. You know, I think people might remember this. When I first joined the podcast, my game of the year, in a probably dull fashion, was like PUBG, and like this is scratching a similar itch for me in terms of like, what is a loop in which I can go in with friends and have a lot of fun, go in with strangers and have a lot of fun, and feel like every time I play it, I can walk away with like an interesting anecdote where like something stupid or something funny or something badass happened, and it's been cool. I don't know, Hunt Showdown's sick.
Emergent gameplay.
Yep, that's it.
I'm looking forward. So Zach has been trying to get me to buy this game because it is going to be getting cross-play soon. So once it gets
really
cross,
good.
Yeah,
I'll be purchasing it so that I can play it with it.
Sure. So
It's on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation right now.
yeah, so it's having some hard times. So it again, Crytek is still a company that's doing well for themselves. Based in Germany now, they are a smaller outfit than they used to be. And so what I have found is the PC game is doing very well. Has like usually 7,000 plus concurrent players on PC, which is pretty good. On console's having a harder time, and also on console, it's a game that was made for mouse and keyboard, and so you ever played a game that gets like a late console port, and sometimes the sticks don't quite feel well? Like it's it's like
Gotcha.
PC is my main platform. I play it on Xbox too, and it feels fine, but it's like have you guys ventured into PUBG on console?
A little bit, but not too
Okay,
much.
fair enough.
I refuse.
Fair enough. But the sticks, the sticks don't quite feel
Yeah,
there.
no, I totally understand.
So
that.
they're going to be iterating on that, and I know they're going to be iterating on that. And frankly, me seeing that they're going to be patching or porting Crysis actually makes me hopeful that Crytek will learn some things. But it's one of my favorite PC games right now. It's so weird. Right now, they just added a character. I don't love the terminology. He's called the Hillbilly. And he wears overalls with no shirt under it, and he's a character you can bring into the bayou with you. And he's got a little straw that hangs out of his mouth. There's so much, like, I love character playing and building up characters, and they built their own lore into this game. And so every character you play as has some weird backstory, and they have like some weird like diary in the game in the menu where you can read about the characters. It's weird. It's so weird. But yeah, Hunt Showdown's all I've been playing, really. I played a little bit of Final Fantasy. It's fine. I like it.
How dare you? No, I'm kidding.
But yeah, so
Honestly,
Welcome to the
Zach,
Final Fantasy is fine, Camp.
that's more than I would have thought you would
Yeah,
have if I had to guess.
like-
just knowing your taste.
I just like Jesse is really what's been selling me on like the first 7 hours of that game.
Oh, Jesse is so thirsty.
Jesse
Like,
rules.
Yeah, she's a
Jesse
great
is.
character.
Yeah, she is far. And like she was mildly thirsty in the original Final Fantasy VII. Like she hinted, like I think Cloud is handsome, and now she like, I found
Can I
myself
get that
like
one
really.
more time?
Yeah,
please?
one more time with that voice, please.
One more time.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. What did I say? What's that?
John.
I didn't. I must have blacked out.
You
for a minute,
said
sorry.
I think.
Cloud is handsome.
Yeah, just like that.
Boy, I think Cloud is handsome.
Good, very good.
Great.
Just like that.
He is handsome.
No, yeah.
Ah,
I don't know.
I think he is. You know, not your thing, Rob.
No.
No.
No,
At any rate,
I'm a Tifa gal.
So I got to tell you, like
Tifa's
I
good.
was
Tifa's good. Tifa's
Well,
good.
like Jesse Biggs and Wedge, like period, have been expanded on. Like they were minor players in the first game, and they've got backstories now, and like they, emotional arcs or like story arcs that resonated with me emotionally. I just like, don't get me back on the Final Fantasy VII
Okay,
train. Also,
I will.
We could go on this for a while,
One last
but-
comment on Final Fantasy VII. Can we just take half a second to marvel at the fact that a few years ago, the idea of a Final Fantasy VII remake was a massive joke.
yes,
That's true. Yes.
Just a giant joke, in
game's
the
out.
vein of Half-Life 3, they're gonna announce a Final Fantasy VII remake, har har har.
And then
then
all the Year of Dreams games are released now.
Yeah.
Like they're all.
Wild.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is out. The Last Guardian is out. Final Fantasy VII Remake is out. What the
Shenmue
fuck?
3 is
Shenmue
out.
3 is out. What the fuck?
So I
dozens
VR
are
VR
happy.
Half-Life
a
game
VR
is out.
Half-Life game is out.
Yeah,
Like,
they put out a Half-Life game this year.
Which
what?
is also fine.
Sure, fair.
I do have to
God.
ask, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask everybody here one Final Fantasy VII related question, but it's not about the game itself.
Okay.
When do we actually think we're going to see part 2?
I have no fucking idea.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Zach's ready for
As
this.
somebody who's
Zach,
only made it to chapter 8, I'm ready to make a call. 2023.
Okay.
2023.
You know what?
I'll give you that. I'll give you
Okay.
that.
You know
Yeah.
what? Okay.
Seems reasonable.
I
I
thought
would
Zach
actually, I would put money on a release window in 2023 that's delayed to 2024.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. And do we think that that's going to be the last installment?
Absolutely
No.
not. Absolutely
No.
not.
This is a
It's not going to
three-parter.
be less than 3. It's not going to be less than 3, and I could see it potentially being 4, depending on
This
how
is going to be the
expand
Hobbit
stuff.
of video games.
Hobbit of video
Speaking
game.
of
It's
3,
definitely gonna be 3, and then they're gonna like make it seem like it's over, and then there's gonna be a fucking final chapter
follow-up.
prologue 2.0.
That's all.
Final Fantasy
It's gonna have some
6.9.
weird ass Nomura nomenclature.
Nomura's
to
gonna
it,
show
like-
me like, I want to write this one.
Yeah, it's episode prologue. You know, yeah, like
I'm telling you
They're
right
gonna
now.
go into the
Local
TV
edition,
show,
like-
and it's actually gonna be Kingdom Hearts 4.
I will say right now, if
This
they
is-
name it Final Fantasy 6.9, I will buy it immediately.
My God.
wow.
Okay,
I will buy
so
that shit immediately.
Really
Wow.
quickly, I just want to ask for people who've played it here, and this doesn't have to be a whole thing. I haven't played Resident Evil 3. I want to play Resident Evil 3. The price tag seemed high. For just that, this isn't about an hours per entertainment thing. Have you guys played it? Is it worth me checking out? Should I wait till the summertime? Because it's, I mean,
Wait, we played
Zach,
what?
knowing your
Resident
tastes,
Evil 3.
Oh, Resident Evil.
Zach, knowing your tastes, I know you like more horror from Resident Evil. I think for you, it might be worth waiting.
I would
Because
agree.
3 is absolutely more of an action game than a horror game.
Okay.
And it's also like, and I know its length is not as important to you, Zach, but
It's what you do.
compared to like Resident Evil, right? Oh boy. Anyway, Resident Evil 2.
Sorry.
God damn it, Zach.
Sorry.
Resident...
Sorry.
No. Let
I'm
me
sorry,
just.
I'm 5.
No,
Reb, I thought you were. I honestly, your initial reaction seemed upset, and then you seemed like you'd be saying,
No! You can make dick jokes around me, guys. It's okay.
"We have a
there's
guest here.
your-
We need to be better about
there's
this."
your
I don't care.
Julian Arar Dio. There's your clippable
friends.
moment from the podcast right there. There's your clippable moment. There it is. I was not
Zeke.
prepared for any of that.
Sorry, John.
I
So,
forgot what the. Oh,
Something
okay, right.
about Resident Evil.
Right. So like Resident Evil 2, Zach, like if you beat it as Leon, you can go back and play as Claire. Then you play each of their B routes. In this, there's really no reason to go back and play it again.
okay.
I do think some of the length complaints are a bit overblown, though, because like one playthrough of 3 is about the same length as one playthrough of 2.
Sure, but but like I factor in replayability.
John,
to that,
wait, but John,
you know?
have you considered Resident Evil Resistance?
No.
I don't know a single person that has even opened that
No.
game. It comes with 3. I know a lot of people that have bought 3. I don't know anybody that has actually
It
played
is a
it.
video game that exists in 2020. That is multiplayer, and that is the extent of my. I've played exactly 2 matches, and I was bored out of my mind. And no,
Haven't even
I don't
loaded
see
it up.
I don't see myself putting any more time into that.
So-
It's boring and stale.
You know, we are officially about an hour into our runtime here. I feel like it's time we level with the audience and say that we don't have a back half of the show in topics, and so the rest we are off. If you didn't think we're off the rails now, we are in uncharted territory, and I think it's time we just kind of the glass. Yeah,
There, yes.
We're off the rails, bitches. Let's go.
Hey, just because he's Dr. Respect doesn't mean he doesn't use foul language. Okay,
That's right.
just want to point that out.
I
Dr.
say,
Respect.
I say gosh darn all the time.
Dr. Respect is allowed to use foul language on this podcast.
Right.
I also like hold on, Cam, stop moving right there. Like look up. Okay, so like look down just a little. Okay, like your ring light is reflecting perfectly
is. Yeah, it's
in
good.
your it makes
Yeah,
you look like a
right.
weird cyborg.
Oh, I like it.
I'll take
I
it.
like it.
Yeah, I'll take it.
It's really cool actually. You're like, no, that's a great look. Now that I've said that, you are not allowed to move your head for the rest
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
podcast.
shift
You
it.
stand
Shit.
there.
It
It looks like you're ready to target somebody for assassination.
I'm ready to target
Like,
the gamers.
Ready to target the gamers.
Ready to target the gamers.
With positive vibes.
No, they're gamers.
They're
No positive vibes allowed.
No positive vibes for the gamers. Should I go ahead and wait? Is Reb actually going down to Cam's place?
She'll be fine.
Anyway, should I go ahead and drop our announcement?
I don't know what your announcement is, but
I think you should. I think it's I'm so excited for this announcement.
Okay,
so.
I'll go ahead. Okay, all right, I'll go ahead and drop the announcement. So, as everybody knows, a game released in 2020 called Final Fantasy VII Remake, an amazing remake of an amazing game, and one of the most iconic characters in the game, and indeed one of the most iconic characters in the entire industry, is Aerith Gainsborough. And I'm very happy to announce that we have next week Brianna White, the voice actor for Aerith, will be appearing on the podcast next Thursday, live, and we'll be taking some questions to ask her from the audience, and we are very much looking forward to that. I am stupidly excited about it. It's a big get for us, and very happy about that. So please be sure to tune in next Thursday because we have the voice actress for Aerith Gainsborough here on SDGC.
That sounds
and
great.
I can't believe that's a sentence I'm actually saying. But wait, what the hell is
Cam, I gotta know.
Yeah.
Reb's back at her chair. I'm glad.
No, I like this.
Cam,
I
gotta
this.
know.
This
So
is good.
Cam, run me through, your podcast where you make up games. I gotta know, is it really a robot or is it a spreadsheet?
It's a robot. It's definitely a robot.
It's a robot?
Yeah. So
Okay.
So we have this robot, and we have like some. It has like a couple million different possibilities or something for games that it can spit out. It's like a game, and then like a twist, and then some other thing, and then it spits out a game idea, and then it's always a Metacritic like perfect scored game every single time.
Interesting.
That sounds really cool.
Now
That
hang
sounds
on.
really cool.
Now
It's a good
Reb,
podcast.
I do have a question for you. You know, you've been a journalist on the scene for a long time, focusing on the business aspect of the industry. I gotta know. You know, it feels like publishers are often making big promises that sometimes developers have a hard time meeting. Do you think that this consistently can live up to the hype? Do you think that we can trust that these ideas will be good, they'll be bestsellers?
Yes.
Well,
Wait,
An opinion from an industry expert right there.
that's from
it just
industry
fucking
experts.
hit me that Cam and Reb switched places. That didn't even register with me.
What?
I don't know what you're
They
talking
haven't
about.
By the way,
I was giving my Aerith announcement, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, hold on.
By the way,
wow,
this is
that
just going to be
literally-
supremely good radio.
John, what are you talking about? I've been on this show forever.
Oh, okay, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Please continue. Sorry,
I'm
I
really
must have had a
does he
brain fart.
normally do this? I don't understand.
does
I'm
this.
basically on
He
this
wants
podcast.
attention
Yeah,
to
I
be
just like that a
him.
lot. I'm sorry.
God.
Sorry, I've had too much to drink tonight.
Yeah, he always does this, guys. I'm so sorry.
I've had too much peanut butter whiskey. I'm sorry. Please continue. Ignore me. In fact,
Oh wow, growing in real time.
ignore me as you normally do. Please continue.
Okay. So again, we don't have topics tonight, so this is really the
I
content.
didn't know
we're
you
at.
guys were doing that announcement right then, or
No,
just
I felt like it was
not- I
good.
just waited.
We
felt
did
good.
because you walked away for a second, so we were just like, "Oh, we'll fill in the time while Reb steps
Yeah.
away with the announcement."
I feel really short on this camera. I'm going back to my
Yeah, I'm
place.
moving. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That
Joel,
was
switch your-
that was. I keep forgetting they live in apartments like right next to each
Yeah,
other.
they're like
So,
one right over the other.
yeah.
In all seriousness, this is a pretty big get for us, and so I'll be
It is.
working with John on social between John, John's account, and then of course the SDGC account. We will be fielding questions early on, like maybe Sunday and Monday next week, to start rolling questions in. And so if you have any questions, about general voice work, about what it's like to step into the role of in Final Fantasy, we're super interested to kind of figure out, what y'all been thinking about it. And
Yeah,
also,
also,
see,
if you haven't seen the clip, she was playing the game on stream, and so there's a clip of her playing the part where you meet Aerith, and it's her hearing her own voiceover in the character for the first
It's
time,
so
and she
good.
breaks down. It's such a.
It is.
I love seeing stuff like that from people that work on making games because seeing how excited the work that they do makes them, as well as how much that we love it, is always really exciting. So if you can find that video, check it out.
So
It's a good video.
I actually have a topic idea, and in real time, I don't want you to say yes to this, even though we have an audience. I want you to devastate me if this topic is a no-go. If you're an Animal Crossing character, what animal would you be? So it has to fit into Animal Crossing lore.
Yeah.
What was your? There's like personas, right, between like Jock and like Leda. I want to know what that is, and I also want to know what's your outfit game? Is this a suitable topic?
Oh yeah, this is great.
Okay, good. This is a great podcast.
Yeah, so there's actually a lot of Animal Crossing animal species. So you could be an alligator, an anteater, a bear, a bird, a bull, a cat, a chicken, a cow, a cub, which is different from a bear, a deer, a dog, a duck, an eagle, an elephant, a frog, a goat, gorilla, hamster, hippo, horse, kangaroo, koala, lion, monkey, mouse, octopus, ostrich, penguin, pig, rabbit, rhino, sheep, squirrel, tiger, or a wolf.
I'd be really impressed if you just like spit that off the dome. I thought you were for a second.
No, I'm very fast at Googling.
So, okay, wait, is there a quick thing for, like, the class types? Are they actually considered class types? Is it, like, more
The
like...
personalities,
Personalities.
yeah. Hold on.
I'm sorry to make you do this on the fly.
No,
Can
this
you
is
guys
great.
send me the actual information? Because
Here,
I
I'm
don't know
putting the
much
link-
about Animal
I'm
Crossing.
putting the links
obvious-
in the Twitch chat. That's
I'm obviously Biff the hippo, right? Like, because he works out and...
Does he let everybody know he works out every time he works out?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
then, yeah.
And then
that
here's,
tracks,
here's
that
the
absolutely tracks.
personalities.
He's
I
literally
actually,
has, like,
I'm
4
wondering
pictures
if
of
there are
himself.
extra
Yeah.
personalities that were added in New Horizons that we just haven't figured out yet. But I don't know. People haven't talked about them, so I'm not sure.
Okay, that's fine.
But yeah, so I think I'd definitely be a normal villager. So normal sounds really boring, but normals are like the best kinds of villagers. They're always like, not to toot my own horn, but they appeal to me. They're always like really sweet and like bubbly and like energetic, but I don't know, in like a nice way. They're not like, I mean, I think they're called normal villagers because they're not like excessively any one thing. Like they're not like a jock where they're super into sports. They're not like trying to be pop stars or anything. They're just like, they just want to live in the town and water the flowers and bake sweets. Like that's what they want to do. And that's like all I want to do, really.
It's nice.
So yeah, I think that would be me. And then as for like species, I don't know. I think I'd probably, I don't know. I'd probably be a dog villager, I think. I think the dog villagers are really cute. Or a sheep. I might be a sheep, actually. Sheep villagers are good. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I think about this stuff a lot.
I like that. I love that. Are you kidding me? Don't apologize. It's
Actually, my bio on gameshistory.biz since I joined is that I'm either cooking video game foods in a real life kitchen or I'm happily imagining myself as an Animal Crossing character. That's been my bio since I got hired there.
This is a perfect topic. Cam, please. Do you know where you are?
So I've actually never thought about this.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to figure out what I would be. I think I would be the lazy archetype because they're like very laid back. They're very chill. They love to eat food. I love to eat food.
Oh, hell yeah.
And they're just chill. They're just out here. They're just out here vibing, just living life.
Yeah.
Just being kind to people. It's great. As far as animal, I don't know. Ducks are pretty cool. I'll be a duck, but also I have to wear cargo shorts. It's part of my brand.
Cam, the animals in Animal Crossing do not wear pants.
Well, I do. Okay.
Except for Flick. Flick wears
Exactly.
I
What's
never
up with
noticed that until now.
What's he hiding?
The only reason why I'm aware that
God,
Flick
no.
wears pants and no one else does is because someone did a really good fan art of Flick and CJ, who are definitely boyfriends, by the way.
Totally.
And in the fan art, Flick was not wearing pants, and everyone in the replies were like, "Where are Flick's pants?" And they're like, "Oh God, Flick wears pants. No one else does."
I take back what I said about a duck.
Okay, wow.
I want to be a chameleon like Flick, where he's like the kind of just like regular punk rock. I want to be the ska punk Flick.
Ooh.
Wow, okay.
But instead of his pants, cargo shorts, because gotta turn my swag on.
Right. But still but still lazy archetype, is that what you
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Fair.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not changing.
John, we do know you're the jock archetype because you like to let us know by posting one of your 4 photos every week.
Right. Like, it's just I gotta I gotta keep it real. Like I'm actually
No,
looking at the
sure.
jock characteristics here, And it says jock villagers are obsessed with sports, talking frequently about their physical appearance and sporting progress, and occasionally gossip. They brag quite a bit, usually about working out. Okay, yeah,
That
no,
tracks.
I get that.
Okay, yeah.
That absolutely tracks.
don't
Tracks,
know.
yeah. Jock villagers in Pocket Camp will occasionally call the player Brosephine. I don't know about that, but I do use the phrase brotato chip sometimes.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Totally same thing.
That's close enough. Yeah, brotato chip or protein shake or something like that. So yeah, absolutely. I am the jock stereotype.
Fair enough.
Clearly, yeah.
I think John's a cranky villager, but that's okay.
Oh,
Wait, no, hold on. Okay, I need to Reb. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I need to hear your rationale.
They can be out of touch with social trends. They have the deepest voice of all the characters except for Joan.
That's true.
Okay.
The ego seeks it. Yeah, okay. Go on.
They go to sleep at 5 a.m. and wake up at 10 a.m. in the original Animal Crossing. What do they do later? New Leaf, they go to bed at 4 a.m. and wake up at 10 a.m. When trying to enter the house of a cranky villager before they wake up, the letter explaining that they are asleep is much angrier than other personalities.
This all tracks.
Yeah,
They
that
spend a
completely
small
tracks.
amount of their day in their houses and most of the day out, which I know doesn't track right now, but nobody's leaving their houses, so it doesn't count.
Absolutely.
They will act protective of the player when the player becomes friends with them, but they seem to disagree with most of the things that other villagers say.
John?
John, yeah.
Holy shit.
They usually discuss trivial things such as food and problems with unhealthy food.
I discuss trivial things, just not with food.
Yeah, though they
Right.
may appear unfriendly if the player talks to them, does errands for them, and sends them letters for long enough. They will eventually begin to open up and become more friendly with the player. The villager may appear more gentleman-like than the other villagers once the player gets to know them. And they may refer to themselves as more mature or like an old man.
All right.
Well,
John really is a hybrid here, but
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, totally. I'm with you.
Old man. Let's just be clear. I'm only 39. Like I'm not an
John,
old
let
man.
me
It's
be
about
double
your
clear.
personality.
Your current Twitter name is what is it again? What is it?
I'm your dad.
I'm your dad is your Twitter name. My dad
Right.
is not 39.
Okay, but I'm just saying I have a very fatherly demeanor, is what I'm saying. I'm like
You've got
everybody's
stepdad vibes.
dad.
You've got
Yeah.
you've got mom's boyfriend vibes. Yeah.
Okay, mama's boyfriend vibes.
Whoa.
Okay, so Zach, what are mama's boyfriend vibes? I gotta know this.
Really wants to be into the things I'm into. Doesn't quite understand. Really wants my approval. Has a heart of gold.
Yeah.
But works a little too hard for my appeal, and sometimes it makes me retreat a little bit. I'm like, whew, he wants too bad.
Hey, John.
Is that how I make you feel, Zach? What's up,
You
Kim?
just, yeah.
We've actually called this podcast together. This is an intervention.
Oh wait. So we know John is a hybrid of the jock cranky
I'm a
jock,
cranky jock.
the jock who cranks,
janky.
the jock
He's
who cranks.
janky.
I'm janky, yeah.
Yeah, John. What animal are you though?
Oh, I'm clearly a rhinoceros.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
Like,
rhinos
there's no-
are good too. The
Yeah,
rhinos
that
are
absolutely
good, a
tracks.
good
Yeah.
animal to
Right.
be.
Okay.
I'm at 100% a rhino. Yeah.
The
okay.
best villager in the whole game, Meringue, is a rhino.
Okay.
Exactly.
Excuse you, Rolled exists.
That's true.
Rolled is my boy. I would die for him. I would
I'll
take
split
a
it with you.
bullet for Rolled.
Rolled is really good.
I hope
I'll
it
split
doesn't
with
come
you.
to that in Animal Crossing. That seems.
Me too. But I would.
I
do
mean,
it. I'd do it. I
that
love my
turnip
boy.
market, if that turnip market turns bad, who knows?
Blood turnips, yeah.
Blood
Justin,
turnips.
Justin, what are you, buddy? Are you? Yeah. Please.
So I'm not too familiar with this, so I'm trying to go by these links that Reb has given us. I do think I would be a lazy villager. I do think that tracks, and I think I would probably be a cat with a twist. I'd be a
Ooh.
robotic cat because there
yes.
can be robotic
Hell yes.
villagers.
There can, yeah. That's good.
So I think I'd be a robotic cat, a lazy robotic cat.
So can you unpack the robotic aspect? Is it just a preference? You just think that's cool?
It makes me think of old kaiju movies when all of a sudden there would be just a big robot version of the thing.
Yes.
So
Excellent.
I figured that,
I love
like,
it.
I wasn't created as a robot, but I have ended up down that path.
I love that.
It's just inevitable at that point. I feel it.
Also, since we're doing that, since Justin gets to be a robot villager, I want to be a food-themed dog.
Wait,
There's like food
wait.
themed.
Yeah, great.
There's theming?
Aren't all dogs food themed? Like dogs.
No,
love
so
food.
okay.
I'm sorry.
So outside of just like the village, so all the villagers have different designs. There's like almost 400 different villagers I think we're up to now. And within those villagers, some sets of villagers just have like visual themes, and they're not like really connected in any way, but just like there are some common themes you will see. Like there's a group of villagers that all for some fucking reason dress like Power Rangers. I don't fucking know why.
They're
they
fucking
just do.
great. They're great.
There are a couple robotic villagers who's like, I know a robotic frog for sure. I think there's a couple others.
Yeah.
There's a couple. I think there's at least one mummy. There might be a second one.
Yes.
And then there are some that are food themed. So Meringue, my favorite villager, if you look up like Meringue the rhino from Animal Crossing, she's a pink rhino, but she has like dessert themes. Like she has a little bit of like whipped topping, and her horn is a little strawberry, and she's so cute. There's like one that I think is like, I think tangy or something. He's like a tangerine. I don't actually know.
That's delightful.
But there's a few that are like that. So I would want to be like a food themed dog.
Fair enough. I actually,
What would your-
Oh, go ahead.
No, Zach, please.
I was just gonna say, in my personal village, I'm not very far into Animal Crossing. I played like maybe 2 days in a row. I did recruit the sheep that's got the burger shirt and the fry hat on,
Hell yeah.
which is pretty sick. I do like that.
What would Zach? I gotta know.
Yeah.
What would Reb's food dog name be? Like,
Well, I feel like I can't
Reb.
make that call.
Reb, what do you like? No.
Yeah, we just be who we are.
Yeah.
Zach, what's your animal?
I want to say bear, because I think I like the idea of that. Just a,
Okay.
just a
Being a
big
cool
guy.
bear.
What kind of bear?
That's the thing. I've actually been having a hard time with this, and I think it's because I haven't. New Horizons is my first exposure, and like I said, I haven't gotten very far in it. I don't think sporty. I think I've got elements of lazy. I think I've got elements of cranky. I definitely got elements of normal. And I actually am having a little bit of a hard time narrowing it down from there.
I would say a little smug.
Wow. You've heard You've
I mean,
cut
we
me.
can just call John cranky. I
That's
think
true.
That shot was,
That's
we can
fair.
Take a shot.
He's hurt me.
Smug. So
Assassination.
it says here, smug are very polite, kind, and gentlemanlike, and will easily get along with other villagers. They seem to be a mix between all personality types and are lively, kind, and positive, but may come off as conceited. Smug villagers tend to have a bigger ego and talk about how much they're cool most of the time and cooler than everyone else. Smug villagers will also occasionally flirt with the player.
I don't feel like I do either of those last two things.
Yeah, I actually.
I'm very.
Yeah, no, I was on
Zach
board
spent the whole
until like
beginning of
those
this
bigger
stream
ones.
I'm a married
apologizing
man.
Zach spent the whole beginning of this stream apologizing because he thought he was doing such a bad job trying to set it up when he was not doing a bad
I
job at
was
all.
with you the first
Doing
part, though.
great.
I mean, I think
Okay,
I'm
so
a-
if we limited it to the first part, then I would say that you're the smug villager.
it hurts more than the actual description does. That's fine. You know, you can't pin me down. There's not a lot of labels that stick
That's right.
to this body.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah,
I'm really
exactly.
happy. So sorry, we're talking. Go back to Animal Crossing.
Please.
Again. One of the things I'm very happy about in New Horizons is how much dialogue there is in this game.
Yeah.
So something that this is a game that's meant to be played for months and months, like into years. When playing New Leaf, eventually you have seen most of the dialogue in the game at that point. Like you just get repeated conversations. There's only, I think, what are we up to? 8, 10 personality types. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9?
Wow,
9
that's a
personality
lot.
types. Yeah, I guess that is quite a few. Maybe there's only 8. I can't really tell what's going on with this weird wiki article. But there's about that many personality types, and there are 10 villagers in your town. Well, yeah, there's 10 villagers in your town, I think. And so you have some duplicates, and you start hearing the same dialogue over and over again from multiple of them. Like sometimes words will get changed out, like they'll put a different dessert in here or whatever, but it's the same stuff over and over. New Horizons, I feel like I have seen less repetition than I did in New Leaf, and I know I've only been playing for a few weeks. But there seems to be just a wider variety of things that they can say and ways that they can say it, which makes me happy. This morning, for instance, I went to the museum to donate some fossils, and my buddy Blathers took some fossils from me, and I was like, I want to see how many more I have left, because I feel like I'm getting a lot of duplicates. So I went down to the fossil area, and my pal Teddy was walking around the fossil area, and he was examining one of the exhibits, and I walked up to him, and he had dialogue that was unique to him looking at that exhibit. Like, he specifically
cool.
said facts about the dinosaur he was looking at, and then he noticed that I had donated it and pointed that out. And it was really cool, like, that was an experience I could, like, one, he could walk into the museum in the first place, because he couldn't do that in New Leaf, and two, that he would have comments to make about the specific things that he was seeing in there. Well, that was really cool.
And, like, Nintendo might make me regret saying this, because Nintendo has proven this before, but, like, this is the first time Nintendo actually has an opportunity to do, like, a live service in which they can, like, they don't just start new events with new seasons, but they actually are adding meaningful content contributions, and so, like, it's super interesting to see. I mean, I think they've whiffed it largely with their online service on Switch so far, but like I'm super
100%.
But I'm super interested to see if they could actually turn this into. I don't mean games as a service in the traditional sense, but
yeah,
this is the first time I've
Just
actually used the Nintendo. App. Like this is the first time I've actually used the Nintendo app.
Yeah,
well, it would also be. Thinking about that, like, I almost wonder if we'll know if Nintendo's doing that or not, because it seems like a very Nintendo thing to just be sneaking in various patches and then just not say anything about it. Yeah.
They absolutely already have. There were people who found there were some people who were sharing stuff on social media where after one of the small updates they did recently, their villagers were talking about art being in the museum, which currently art being in the museum is a thing from previous games, like fine art. There's a whole thing where there's this shady fox named Red who comes around and he sells you paintings,
Red's
and
so
like
good.
Sometimes they're counterfeit and sometimes they're not. And in New Leaf,
I like that.
In New Leaf, you could see kind of like a blurry visual of what the painting was, and you had to like look at it, and they matched like real life paintings. So like there was one of like, I don't know, woman with like a pearl earring, I think is what the painting's called.
Mm-hmm.
There was one that was basic girl with the pearl earring. There's one that was basically that, and you had to look at it and like know what the real life painting looked like and look at it really closely. And like this is me like spitballing. I can't remember what the actual thing was, but like the earring would be the wrong color if it was a fake one or something. And there were 3 paintings every time he showed up, and one of them was real and the other 2 were fake. And so you had to identify which one was the real one and buy it, and then take it to the museum to donate it. And if it was a fake, Blowers wouldn't take it, and it was just trash, and you wasted the money to throw it away. But if it was a real one, he would put it up in the museum. So that was the whole mechanic. It's not in New Horizons, but people in like their village after one of the updates were talking about, oh yeah, I went to the museum. It was cool that there was art there or whatever. And there's not art, so it was obviously not intended to have that dialogue in there. Mm-hmm. But the indication is that dialogue is written and it's coming. Same thing with Brewster, the guy who runs he's like I think a brother or cousin of Blathers in New Leaf. And previous games he runs a coffee shop. And the coffee shop doesn't even do anything. Like, you just show up and you can sit at the counter and order a coffee. And other villagers will sometimes come sit in there and drink coffee too. It's super cute. And it's not in this game yet, but people were talking about getting a coffee at Brewster's. And so the dialogue wasn't meant to be in there, but they basically like stealth added dialogue to the game. And Brewster's coming.
Can we just, like, building off what Reb said, can we just mention the fact that you can buy a dog bowl with food and water in it, but you can't have a fucking dog?
Why would you enslave one of your fellow villagers?
Well, I mean, people are already selling them online, so...
That bowl of food is for your pet turtle.
That's true, yeah. You're right.
Is it?
Actually,
is it for
Tortimer's a turtle.
Yeah, that's the thing is...
I've just seen the hissing turtles.
Is Animal Crossing just fucked up?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Can I do one more little rant about Animal Crossing?
Please.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is something that I wanted to write about, but I don't think I'm quite qualified to write about it, and also I don't have a place to write it at. But something that has really made me excited about Animal Crossing, and I want to preface this with a giant asterisk that it is still imperfect. Was this an Uppercut? Did Uppercut have a really good article about this recently? Somewhere had a good article about this recently about how the gender expression in Animal Crossing was the ways in which it was imperfect. It was a really good article.
That was Uppercut. Yes.
Okay, go read that because it's good. But I do want to talk about what it does well. And I think something that it has done well that has helped me a lot to sort of think about these things is that for the very first time, New Horizons is almost, not quite, but almost completely apathetic about gender. And gender expression. And in previous games, all the villagers are either male or female. They're all binary gender. And the personality types are binary as well. Like there's 4 for male villagers and there's 4 for female villagers, and they're always split along those lines. And in the past, it has always been very clear, like which villagers were male and which were female. Like they would have, I believe they would have blue and pink like name plates over their speech, like based on their gender. They would specifically talk about doing girly things or like masculine things or whatever, and they would talk about it in those terms. And in this game, I I still think that like programming wise they are definitely divided up into those subtypes, and there is still like a little bit of discussion of like gender lines, but for the most part it's gone. Like everybody is just whoever they are and interested in whatever they're interested in, and they can all wear any clothing that you want. You can give coded male villagers dresses and they will wear them. You can give them cute little frilly hats and purses. They will wear them. They love it. They don't care. They'll brag about it. And the end result is that my town in my head can't. And the other thing is everybody refers to. I don't know if they do it for the fellow villagers, but for the player characters, they refer to every player character as they or them every single time. So like if Cam comes to visit my town and somebody afterwards is talking about them, they will always refer to Cam as they or them because there's no coding for there's a thing at the beginning where you choose kind of your body type, and it is a binary like male or female coded body type, but it's not like picking pronouns and it's not like picking your gender. It's picking how you look. And there's other problems with that. Again, go read Uppercut. But essentially, like, it does away with gender in a very particular way. And I understand the reasons why that might not work for some people, but it is really cool in that it basically gives you kind of this blank canvas to sort of project your own headcanons onto. And I have really been enjoying it because I just, like, everybody in my village is queer as shit now in my head.
Hell
like,
yeah.
That's just how it works. Like Teddy is this super, like, jock, like, kind of personality who's really into sports, and every morning Teddy wakes up and puts on this, like, athletic suit and these big shades and goes out and lifts a bunch of weights, and then in the afternoon, Teddy grabs a purse and a cute little hat and strolls around the village in a raincoat. Like, that's what Teddy does, and that's Teddy's life, and Teddy loves it.
Shout out to Teddy.
Teddy's
Hell yeah, Teddy.
The other day, Teddy made an amazing pun about fencing and fences while
Yes.
wearing a doctor's coat, the same shades that I was mentioning, and a fuzzy hat, and holding a broom. I think that's all that he was wearing. It was ridiculous. It was an absolutely ridiculous outfit. I love him so much. There's Eunice, who's in my town, who Eunice is definitely somewhere in the code, either a male or female villager. I have no idea. So in my brain, Eunice is non-binary, and like the game has never given me any reason why I need to think about that if I don't want to think about that. But I can if I want. Mary, little kitty, gay as shit. She loves lesbian manga with like robots and magical girls and shit, and is always talking about it. And I love her so much. And it's really cool because like I am a person who I was born and raised as a woman, and I am a woman, and that's like what I am. But I was definitely raised with like some shitty, harmful stereotypes about who women are and what they're supposed to be and what their role in society is. And I was also raised to think that if you're not straight, then you're just like wrong or delusion. And I'm not straight, so that didn't help. So I'm still like thinking about these things and sort of discovering these things as an adult, because a lot of my thinking about them and a lot of my breaking free from kind of that training and that like I guess I don't know, like I don't know, all that thinking, like my break from that is still fairly recent, still fairly fresh, and I'm still like discovering things that are like located in my brain that I think about gender and that I think about how all that works, that are not like useful thoughts to have anymore. And so I'm still sort of working through them in different ways, and Animal Crossing is kind of helping me work through them in different ways, because I just have this kind of, I don't want to say like blank canvas, but I have just all these kind of personalities and tastes and interests that are sort of thrown in these animals, I mean, basically at random, but I don't have to think of any of them as having anything to do with gender, if I don't want to, or I can if I want to. And so it's been really helpful for me, and it's been really cool, and I'm really, really enjoying that part of the experience. And again, go read Uppercut's article about it, because there are still problems on it. Nintendo is still very imperfect on these things, but I think there are things it does really, really well that I'm really enjoying. Thank you for letting me rant about that.
No, that
was
was great. That was one of my favorite video game discussions on. Like that was, I love stories like that. Like, you know, the fact that games can help us, you know, not just entertain ourselves, but also grow as people and learn more about ourselves, and help us come to terms with different things about ourselves. I think that's one of the powers of this medium. And so I'm always willing to. I always love hearing stuff like that, especially from people I care about, so thank you.
You know,
we are
pretty much at time, despite the technical difficulties. I do want to thank you for coming out, and again, John, we are having a guest next week. Reiterate that guest for people in case they missed it earlier.
Sure. The voice actress for Aerith in Final Fantasy VII Remake, Brianna White, is going to be on SDGC next week. We're gonna
Hell
be
yeah.
I am like, you have no idea what it was like for me and Justin especially to keep this contained for 24 hours. Like
By the way,
was
you
like,
you told me this as I was finishing the game too. So like I was literally unable to sleep for like hours after.
Yeah, so we are very excited. We're going to be taking some questions for her at some point before next Thursday.
Yeah.
And you can expect the majority of the podcast to revolve around her, because there's going to be a lot to talk about. This is a big role for her, and it's going to open up a whole lot of things for her, hopefully, because she killed it as Aerith. Imagine landing for a voice acting role like one of the most iconic characters in the entire history of the medium. Like that's huge. That's wild. And it'll be very interesting to see the positive things that happen to her career after this. So we're very excited about that. Do we have any more housekeeping items for anybody? Brad?
Yes, I do. So I've just put a link. Nightbot is updated. That is the correct link to the SDGC community Discord. It is an incredible, positive, lovely place. We're having a real good time in there. Come join us if you haven't already. By the way, if you all remember that Discord, our good, wonderful moderator Lena has set up a Minecraft server for us. I don't know anything about that or how it works, but if you join the Discord, there's a channel dedicated to the Minecraft server, and if you go there and want to be a part of that, Lena can probably give you a lot more information on what that entails. But we have one of those now.
That's actually going to be great for Minecraft Dungeons next month, which I am very much looking forward to.
Yeah, that game's gonna be sick.
By Minecraft server, I mean like a server in Minecraft,
Yeah,
like in the game. We also have a channel in
we have
the
our own
Discord,
server.
but we have our own
actual
server in
Minecraft. Okay,
both of those things.
I'm sure they'll tolerate discussion of dungeons in there.
Yeah, probably.
Oh yeah.
will.
It'll be fine.
So, but like, also, Cam, thank you so much for being here tonight
Thank you so
and
much for having me
tolerating
on, guys.
technical difficulties.
Dude, you're fine.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, and also, yeah.
Plug
Can
your
I,
shit
can I-
again.
Yeah, pump your shit.
I will. So I am a co-host on the New Entertainment System podcast, as I mentioned at the top of the show. It is a show where me and my good friend Nathan Brandt, we have a robot, as I talked about earlier, is not a spreadsheet. It's actually a robot, where basically we have like different pieces of games, like different genre IP, little like weird twists, like you have to play it with a dance pad or something, and it mashes them together and it spits something usually really cursed out. We just like spend like about half an hour, 45 minutes, but with me and Nate and a guest from games industry, games podcasting, games journalism, all of that stuff. We just like kind of pitch the game, and it's never good, but it's like a great show. It's a lot of fun.
It's always a perfect game.
It's always a perfect game, 100% of the time, 100 on
Perfect score on
Metacritic.
Metacritic.
We have just like a killer record. Another thing I do want to plug real quick in relation to that show, next Saturday on the 25th, that night at 8:30 p.m. Central, we are doing our second ever NestPod live show. We had a lot of fun doing our last one last month, which was kind of in place of a panel of ours that got canceled because of everything. And it's going to be me and Nate, and we're going to be joined by friends Caitlin Gallies-Rowe from Uppercut. We're going to be joined by Lizzie Garcia from But Why Though, and we're going to be joined by Ian Preschel from OK Beast. So that'll be a fun, ridiculously terrible bullshit time. So come on out to that and have some drinks and just talk about, I don't know, Sonic fucking or something.
Well,
John, you were on the show. This should not surprise you.
no, I just wasn't like, I'm never prepared for it. That's all.
Is anybody?
Reiterate
No.
one more time in case people aren't following your podcast and you on Twitter, where they can find you.
Yeah. Thank you. I forgot about that.
No, you're good.
So the podcast can be found on Twitter at the NES Pod, and I can be found on Twitter at the Camdyman. That's TheKamDyman. Lots of bad, silly jokes there. So look forward to that.
Sweet. All right, Justin, thank you for being here. Obviously, one of the gang. Please tell people where they can follow you on Twitter if they aren't already.
Yes, I am at RoboPlato on Twitter, and pretty much anywhere. If you see that, it's me. Yeah, and I'm here on SDGC quite a bit.
Yep. And John, you're kind of an up-and-comer. No one knows you yet. Can you please tell people where they might find you?
You know what? If you don't know where to find me on Twitter at this point, you've been listening to this podcast for years. I got nothing. I can't help you.
Zach, where do they find you?
Me? You can find me. God, I gotta change his handle, but now I've said it so many times that I can't. So my handle is at Bear Claw Gaming.
You should make it.
word.
You should make it avocado toast 420.
Don't tempt me.
That's my alt. Please don't dox me like
Yeah,
that.
please. And then Reb, where can people, one, follow you on Twitter, and two, see a lot of your work?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at DuckValentine, and you can find my work at gamesindustry.biz. I published a weirdly timely, in a sort of weird way, interview just today with Kelly Wallach, who is the founder of the Indie Mega Booth. Yesterday, they announced that they were sunsetting their operations for the duration of COVID-19. And my interview with her was at PAX East when she was full of a lot of optimism and hope for the future of the Mega Booth. So it is a very weird interview, but I have put it in context, and Kelly was a wonderful, wonderful interviewee. So if you care about little games getting attention and the industry being a better place, she had really wonderful things to say, and I think it's worth your time.
Awesome. Okay, I think that will do it for us here at SDGC. John, do you want to do the honors sending us home?
Does anybody else want to do it? I always do it. If somebody else wants to do it,
Cam, do you know our line? Cam, can
No,
you...
I don't.
Damn it!
I'm sorry.
All right. No, please. I barely know it. All right, John, I think it's up to you, buddy.
It's not always poetry, and we don't always agree, but we always keep it real.
There we go.
Yeah.